Hey everyone, thank you for tuning in. I'm Dan and welcome to my channel. First episode today, and the first company I'll be reviewing is Nouveau Monde Graphite. I'm going to go through a kind of 7-point step here to cover them. First of all, what do they do? The financials, the share structure, the bull case, the bear case, a little bit of technical analysis, and then what am I going to do with this position? So what do they do? Well, Nouveau Monde Graphite, the clue's in the name. They mine graphite, and I'm going to take you through their company presentation now, just to give you a bit more context and a bit more of a flavour of exactly what they do. This is the investor presentation on the Nouveau Monde Graphite website. They've got two major operations going on in the first instance. So focus on mining high purity flake graphite, which will be their kind of bread and butter. And then they've also got a value added plant for doing spherical graphite, which I think their CEO said that we had to charge around $7,000 per tonne. So I think the average for high purity flake graphite was around $2,000 per tonne. So overall, they've got two kind of work streams going on. I think they have a agreement with a local electricity supplier of clean hydropower, strategically located as well. So they've got a train line in, also close to the docks, so they can supply the EU market and the US market, and then the Canadian market as well. So if we just go on this link here, you've got visibility of what GM are looking to do. So they're looking to convert a CAMI into a commercial EV plant, which is really, really interesting. So there's a lot going on in the kind of EV space right now, especially in North America. So you may have seen on other YouTube videos that Nouveau Monde Graphite have NDAs in place with several of the main players in the EV market. So really interesting times for them. So now financials. What do their financials look like? How do they stack up? Is this a viable project? So in terms of the financials, I'll take you through Simply Wall Street very, very quickly, just to give you a quick overview. So it says here earnings have declined by 35.6% over the past 5 years. Well, they're still mining, they're still kind of in the exploration stage, so you wouldn't expect to see much going on here. I mean, personally, you know what you're up against when you're investing in a company like this. They're growing, they're looking to kind of establish themselves in the market. There'll be the odd bit of share dilution. That's kind of normal. As long as you factor that in and don't get too kind of upset with it, then you're onto a good one, I think, here. And here, if we look at the earnings and revenue, I mean, it paints a pretty bad picture, but they're investing a lot in their operation, and they're investing a lot in kind of their people, getting them trained, applying for permits, waiting on the permits. You've got to pay the people while you're waiting for confirmation that you can kind of crack on and get started. And they've invested in specialist machinery from Italy, which was recently delivered on you saw that on their Twitter. Yeah, so if we look here on their balance sheet, I mean, you can see there's some debt there, but they're growing, they're investing in the future. They've got a clear cash runway. I mean, they recently announced this, so funding of 20 million, I think it was from the Pallinghurst Group. I think as well the Bank of Montreal has invested in them as well, so here you can see Pallinghurst. Investments from people that have previously backed them, so for me that's positive. I like to see that. You don't want to see people getting jittery feet and stop investing because they could be looking to cut their losses. So Pallinghurst are still interested, and up here you see Bank of Montreal as well. So all good news, and they bought as well at a price of $145. So that was really positive as well. That was at a time when the permits hadn't been granted, so there was still faith there. So very, very positive. Company, for me, moving in the right direction. Just to give a quick wrap up on the financials then. So it's likely that they're going to keep raising money. They've already said that they're looking at other sites. As part of that, they're going to need additional money to kind of fund those sites. I don't think the money that they're going to get from revenue is going to enable them to be self-sustaining at the moment, but it shows that they really are moving in the right direction and that they want to improve and that they want to grow as a company. We'll get on a little bit later on in terms of what I'm going to do and what I'd like to see, but I think overall it's positive. So if we go into share structure now, so I'm just going to look at really kind of like who owns what, have they got any institutional investment, how much insider investment is there, whether they're doing insider buying, whether they're doing insider selling, because those are very, very key indicators as well in terms of how a company's going to do in the future. So back on Simply Wall Street, we can see here insider trading volume. Now this is really positive. There's been an absolutely massive amount of investment. Look at this, it's 68.3 million Canadian dollars invested in the last 0 to 3 months. That's fantastic news for the company. It shows that people have ultimate faith in what they're doing and that they are going to grow and they are going to go places. So if you're worrying about your kind of £200, don't be too worried because someone's just invested 68.3 million. If we scroll down, the single biggest thing here isn't that the kind of Pallinghurst group bought 3 million shares at 145. It's actually this guy here. So he's their CFO. So if the CFO is buying shares in the company, it's because he thinks that they've got a really good outlook, really good financial outlook. So stability in terms of they're going to hit their goal in terms of being able to manufacture. And then from there as well, they've got good margins. You're going to make a lot of money in the future. So he's investing his own money in that company and he believes it's going to go well. So if we just scroll down here into the ownership breakdown, so institutions, venture capital, individual insiders, private companies, and then the general public, and it's a relatively healthy split. There has been shareholder dilution in the past year, but at the same time, that's probably likely to happen with companies that are trying to grow. It's not unusual, especially kind of in the sub $2 range. However, I do think this company's share price will continue to rise up. If you look at the top shareholders, no surprise to see the Pallinghurst Graphite Limited Group as the top shareholder. There's some private individuals as well. So overall, I think it's a really good picture from a kind of shareholder perspective. I like the fact that they're reinvesting. I like the fact that the CFO has bought in. So positive signs on that front. So then we'll look now at the kind of bull case and what's going on in the company that makes you think, wow, this is really going to go places. Like, you want to see some pretty standout things here that makes you think this share price is going to rocket. Otherwise, what's the point in investing? In the current market, when everything's booming, you need to make sure you're backing the right horse. So to start the bull case, let's look at the composition of an EV battery. So first up, the anode. Well, around 95% is graphite. So you can see there's going to be a clear demand there as well. I think I've seen quoted by the CEO of Nouveau Monde that around 30% of graphite today coming from China is the cost of logistics. So being able to manufacture out of Canada and to ship that by rail or by boat or even by truck will save a massive amount on the cost of logistics. Also, critically, go over here and we can see that graphite remains on the EU critical raw material list for now. So they're manufacturing or mining, should I say, a material that's in high demand. So if we look here at the cost of graphite worldwide from 2011 to 2020, you can see that the kind of price curve stayed relatively stable, but recently it's really kind of shot up in 2020. You can see here that jumbo is going for around $6,175,000 per metric ton. So if you compare that to kind of 2016, it's kind of gone up fivefold. There's clearly real demand there, and people are keen to get their hands on high quality graphite, and Nouveau Monde Graphite are claiming that they're able to mine that. I guess coming back to the bull case, this is brilliant to see. I know we've already covered it, but when you've got shares being bought by insiders, it's fantastic. What you don't want to see is shares being sold by insiders. So again, another element of the bull case. So if we quickly look at the Reddit write-up that I did, they're under NDA with Tesla, VAG and some other battery manufacturers, and it's well known that Tesla want a clean supply chain. Elon Musk tweeted this: Tesla will give you a giant contract for a long period of time if you mine nickel efficiently and in an environmentally sensitive way. The fact that Nouveau Monde Graphite are kind of based in Canada is a massive tick, so you can save the 30% of logistics costs. And also they're going to be using renewable hydroelectricity. So there's two big ticks there, so that really kind of plays into their favour. The final point here on the bull case is that due to the Pallinghurst connection, Nouveau Monde Graphite have already got an order for 25,000 tonnes per annum of graphite from the Traxys Group. So already this equates to 25% of their annual capacity based on a 26 mine life. Now they can scale up or scale down the mine life. It just depends on, where the demand is. So if they really want to kind of ramp it up, they can take more out. But just based on what they kind of said in their investor presentation, you're looking at a 26-year mine life. So that's really, really good news. So in terms of the bull case, I could keep talking on this. I'm really impressed with Nouveau Monde Graphite. I really like the CEO. He seems pretty funny. So if I'm not going to put it in this video, but he's had some pretty funny videos, and their marketing seems to be quite good and on point. They're in the EV sector. Well, that's where they're certainly angling their product towards. So that's impressive. Anything in that sector is really, really kind of hot right now. And, location-wise, it does fit the matrix in terms of, supplying into a Tesla or a General Motors. So bear case, there isn't really a great deal in terms of the bear case that I've found. So the first thing that was kind of highlighted to me was, will graphite even be used in the future? So with solid state batteries, QuantumScape looking to do what they're trying to do, Romeo Power as well. Yeah, there's a risk that the requirement might die out, but to be totally honest, not every OEM moves at the same speed, so not every OEM will be moving to solid state at the same time. I think they've got a relatively healthy kind of timeline left. 26 year of mine length is good. They've already confirmed that they're looking to do additional mines. So I guess the one thing that really kind of concerns me from a bear perspective is the fact that they're only doing graphite, so it feels like all their eggs are in one basket. I'd love it if they announced that they were going to look into mining nickel or copper or other kind of battery metals. So you've seen American battery metals do pretty well in terms of their share price. It kind of went up 300%. And also global battery metals as well, that had a nice peak. A lot of lithium plays at the moment. I'd love it if they announced that they were going to look into doing different kind of mining operations. I think they need it. I think every company needs it. I don't think you can put all your eggs in one basket. I don't think it's sustainable or safe or the right thing to do for your investors. So once all the knowledge is there in terms of how they mine, I'd like to see them move out of purely graphite. So the final point for the bear case, if any of you are on StockTwits, I absolutely love this guy. Those of you who followed Nouveau Monde Graphite for a few months now, he's always on there. And I've kind of got to give a shout out to Salanti. He is the biggest single dildo on StockTwits. So here we are on StockTwits. I've had to block him, so for some reason I can't unblock him right now. It's playing up a little bit, but if you search for this guy, honestly, his tweets are absolute diarrhea about Nouveau Monde Graphite. I think he could actually be a bot. He just constantly tweets the same crap every single day. So check him out if you want to find the other end of the spectrum, if you think I'm being biased or whatever. But yeah, this guy's a little bit odd. As you can see, member since December the 11th, 2020. So he's relatively new to it. But if you go on all of his kind of tweets, he's negative about everything. So just a little bit of a shout out to my man Salanti. He's an absolute prize bellend. So now we'll move on to technical analysis. Now, I used to think TA was absolute rubbish. I thought it was kind of all retrospective. You look back and it's easy to see what happened because it's all mapped out there for you. But actually, when you learn a bit about it, there is a lot that you can take from kind of looking at the charts and understanding exactly where things might go. We're going to hop over now to Trading 212 and I'll show you a little bit more about where I think Nouveau Monde Graphite might go in the future based on the current day status. So if we look now on Trading 212, I've got three kind of key indicators set up that I like to use. So we've got the 200-day moving average line here, which is on upward trend, which is good. Got the MACD line, which may be signalising some kind of retracement in the price. So the faster moving line is about to cross over with the slower moving line here. So the yellow one's a slower one. Generally, when that kind of kinks back down, that will say the share price is retracing a little bit. And then the awesome oscillator. So the theory is here when the green line is above here, you can see at the bottom, that indicates there's positive momentum going forwards, which is backed up on this. And you can see as well here when it went above, it was good levels, and it rose up again here. So those are the three kind of indicators that I like to use normally. You can use that for day trading, you can use it for longer term analysis. I've also drawn three kind of key support and resistance lines here for me. So the first one was around 110, 112. You can see that it broke through but went back down, got some more support here, and then it held up above this line. So there was always support in and around that line. And from there it went up, and it hit the kind of 156 line. It had previously hit it as well over here, and then it tested it and then retested it and went through. I think it was on the permanent news that it went through. And you've got your upper kind of line here, so I don't think there's enough data to suggest right now that it's going to sustain above here. I'll explain what I'm going to do with this stock at the end. So I'd like to see a little bit more kind of sustainability in here. You know, they announced the permits in a bear market. So I say bear market, I mean there was kind of 2 to 3 days last week where it was very, very bearish and not a lot of love coming from the market. So it did well to kind of stay up as high as it has. And from here I'd just like to see some onwards kind of consolidation, you know, trading sideways now around the $2, maybe moving up to $2.20 would be really, really positive. So in terms of what might come next, I mean, I think you're looking anywhere in around this kind of trajectory here. I don't think it will keep on with the same level of increases. Like the good news has come, it's been landed. I do think that kind of from top of here to here suggests that there's good momentum in and around this kind of area here. Probably for me, looking kind of by the 19th, 23rd of Feb, you know, towards the end of the month, if it's anywhere around the $2.20 mark, I think that's really, really positive, really good news. It might go even higher, you know, it might go lower. This isn't financial advice, it's just here for kind of entertainment, educational purposes. Hopefully you're learning a little bit as you go through this. But yeah, I mean, overall it's a really, really kind of solid chart. It's backed up by, I guess, their market news, the fundamentals that they've got. I like it. I mean, I like the CEO, I like the company. So now we've been through what do they do, the financials, a bit of the share structure, bull case, bear case, and also some technical analysis. It comes down to what am I going to do next. So we're just going to go and look at a few kind of key indicators just to wrap it up and summarise it. So for those of you that have watched the About Me video that I posted first, it's kind of episode 0. Nouveau Monde Graphite are already on this tracker. So you can see here what I've done is company name, ticker, the exchange that I bought on or previously bought on or recommended to buy on, the date that I reviewed it initially. So this was a Reddit write-up, the price at the point of doing the review, the price at the end of the week, delta in terms of percentage, and then how do their financials look, what's their growth look like, how attractive is it as a kind of market proposition, what's their level of risk, and then what's my overall rating, and then what am I going to be doing with it, and what kind of action would I put around it. So first up, since I first kind of picked this stock, looking forwards, logic was that you wouldn't have people investing kind of millions of pounds in the company if they didn't know or didn't have a level of confidence that the permits were going to be granted. So if you'd invested on the back of my Reddit review, you'd be 60% up now. In terms of financials, I've put them down as a 2. Now, the reason why I put them down as a 2 is essentially because they're going to be burning through a lot of cash, and whilst they do have cash in the bank and they have raised some pretty large sums of money, they are going to be spending it as well. So we just need to keep an eye on that. In terms of growth, I think they've got a good proposition right now. I think it will grow. I think it will grow nicely as well. We're not just talking about the share price here, we're talking about the company. So, you know, if they land a Tesla type contract for graphite supply, you're going to see the share price rocket. If you get someone who's slightly less attractive, but actually, you know, the company might make more money from that, then that's actually a really good thing for the business. So I think there's good growth in this. Like I said earlier, though, I would like to see them kind of stretching themselves, going into other commodities. Attractiveness, I think the EV market right now and anything that feeds into that is highly attractive, so I've graded that a 4. And then in terms of risks, I think they're relatively low risk right now. I think at $2, you might see a little bit of retracement on the back of the good news. I mean, we saw it previously, so just kind of keep an eye on it. You don't have to like rush in now, but what am I doing? So I bought this, I've sold it and I'm currently watching it. I do think it's a buy, and the reason why I think it's a buy is because over time I believe this will go up. I don't think it's going to retrace and kind of drop off from the $2 levels. I think they've got additional players left in this stock. So who's going to be their first kind of OEM partner? That will definitely send it up a little bit. Also as well, they're looking at other land for mining. So I think you've got those two factors there which make me think it's still a buy. There's still good news to come. They'll be announcing that they've started mining soon, or they've installed their machinery and things like that. Just little bits of good news will keep popping up and keep propelling it upwards. And if you consider yourself to be a patient investor, then I think it could be a really good stock for you. Do your own due diligence on this one. Go out, research it yourself. Have a look at their company presentation. There's lots of information out there about them now. There's quite a few YouTubers covering them as well. So really good. I mean, the Money Mind, he's actually got an interview with Eric, who's the CEO. So go watch that. Really impressive stuff. Personally, I think there's more money to be made elsewhere right now. Like my investment kind of strategy is I look for the company that's going to have the next kind of big spurt. I think Nouveau Monde have just had that. So we may see a little bit of a slower period now with the kind of the good news slowing down a bit, which is healthy because you want that sideways consolidation. You want people buying in at a higher level, so you get a more of a stable base in the share price because people don't want to take massive hits on the share price. So a bit of sideways consolidation, and I think it will start to go up again on the back of some good news. So look, I hope you enjoyed my video. I hope you found it helpful. Don't take it as financial advice. It's only here for kind of educational and entertainment purposes. Hopefully you got some value out of it. Thank you for watching. If you wouldn't mind hitting the like button, subscribing, turning notifications on, it really helps me out, really helps me grow the channel. I do put a lot of time and effort into making these videos and doing all the research that goes into it. It's nice to get some feedback. Thank you for watching, take care, and see you again soon.